Dude, Cap, did you
What's up?
look at Saturn and Jupiter? They were touching. Can you believe it? They were touching. They touched the planets in the sky.
I didn't even I saw like one meme about this. Was this a thing?
It was like the oh, everything like froze for me. I guess my computer wasn't having any of my bullshit. They yeah, I had like 7 people text me, be like, "Hey, did you see the fucking planets?" And I'm like,
No.
"Oh fuck, I missed it." I must have weird friends that are messaging me about this, and no one's bothering you about looking
Could be.
outside.
I mean, do all of those friends have telescopes?
No, you could have saw it with your eyeballs.
Not in LA. Not with that like kind of light pollution.
Probably not. I'm a little closer to the coast. There's a little bit less by me, but I mean, there's mountains by you. What a time for a night hike. I'm sure you weren't doing anything right. Happy Monday.
I don't know, man. I took an astronomy class in college. Not for me.
Can you, if you look up from that class, will you be like, ah, yeah, that's Orion. I see you right there.
No.
Oh.
It's that was a hard class actually. I remember our teacher was like, he was like one of those really, really old ass teachers who was probably like really smart and stuff, but like he couldn't be a teacher. He shouldn't have been a teacher. And I remember his class was like way too difficult for like a 101 class. I remember I went on, I was like, I needed the extra credit. And so he said he would give extra credit to anybody who came, and like one of those days, there's going to be this thing happening. Come to the college at 10 p.m. and I looked through a telescope for like 20 points of extra credit to look at a planet or some shit. I was like, oh, cool. I could see Venus. Very nice.
Very nice.
I don't care. I mean, like the thing about that I'm not one for traveling. Anything that I can see most of the time, I can see on Google Images, and it's probably a better picture or a better view. Same thing when it comes. It's in fact, it's 10 times that amount, right? Because whatever shitty telescope I can get, there's going to be like amazing images that people will be able to get because they've got a literal building that is a telescope, instead of my dinky shit. So like, why would I just not look
instead
at
of my eyeballs
pictures instead of with my eye? It just, or I don't personally I don't get it.
I don't care about astronomy at all, and generally I think horoscope people are. I look at them with a little bit of side eye. I'm like,
Isn't that astrology?
Yeah, same shit. It's all whatever, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It
doesn't. I don't even need to take up the brain space to remember which word is which. I'm smart, I promise. But I do know a solid handful of constellations, which makes me feel like relatively smart because I can walk around and be like, "Hey, look at Orion's belt," and people will be like, "What?" I go on a lot of night walks, just in like residential areas, so I feel like I can orient myself in the sky like a. I have no practical need for this. I can point out like 3 constellations and be like, yep, there you go. But that's all I can do. I also didn't go outside and look at the planets because I went out at the wrong time. You have to do it kind of early in the night, so you can't see them anymore. It's below the horizon. But that's okay.
I see.
That's it. I've been dealing with
a once in a lifetime opportunity. That's the other thing. I feel like when it comes to these events, it's once in a lifetime comet. Once in a lifetime planet alignment. Unless it's doing some like Tomb Raider shit and like the cave that opens up to the secret of immortality is going to unlock because the planets are all aligned. Like, I don't give a shit. All of these are once in a lifetime events. It doesn't mean anything if like every 10 days there's a once in a lifetime event happening.
It's like the ESPN effect, right? Like. Or even, I have a real pet peeve with, this comes from sportscasting, but I'll extrapolate it to our niche. of
Mhm.
Frederick Nietzsche of esports casting, when we go, oh my god, this is the first time that Australia's in the history of ever went on a T-side save with only 3 CZs, and then they proceeded to I'm not even making a good one.
Yeah. Like they use stats to basically find the most, like, every single stat they put up is like, this is the first or top 3 or top 10 of this obscure stat, because they're specifically looking for stats that are like top 3 or something, because people like top 10 lists.
This is the first time that Mickey, playing Gyrocopter, ever used 3 homing missiles in the span of 14 seconds with 2 Aghanim Scepters. Like I don't care. There's too many confounding variables.
Yeah, this is the highest net worth Snapfire's had at 20 minutes. Well, yeah, no shit. Mickey's playing Snapfire. Nobody else plays Safe Lane Snapfire. Like, of course he's gonna have the highest net worth. Nobody else does this.
Just sitting here, just like shitting on Knoxville's job. He's like, "What else do you want me to do?"
Nah. He got stopped hiring by tournaments a long time ago. Now that shit's automated by SAP or whatever.
SAP, one of my favorite sponsors of Team Liquid, which I enjoy from my Honda while drinking Monster Energy and eating my daily lunchtime Jersey Mike's. Note this podcast is being recorded on an Alienware PC, and also we're not sponsored. Man, I'm like a little shot out of a cannon. You're yawning, but I had a Monster at too late, so I'm worried about the rest of my night, if I'm being honest.
You did tell me earlier, you were like, I'm pretty tired. At 5:30 p.m. you told me you were tired, so you must have taken that Monster after that at some point.
Well, I decided, have you ever taken a caffeine nap?
Where you drink a little bit of caffeine and then take a 20 minute to an hour long nap?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in the nap has to be like 15 minutes of sleeping, 15 to 20 minutes of sleeping. So generally, I set my alarm for 25 minutes because that gives me about 10 minutes to fall asleep. But like basically, yeah, you got the concept right. It's either like, take a shot of espresso, take a little bit of coffee, have like, some of your Monster Red Bull, and you have to be tired enough to immediately take a nap to where your body isn't going to be caffeinated by whatever you're injecting into it, right? I tried to do one of those today. I'm like, dude, I'm going to do some life hacks. I'm going to do some body modding. And I failed miserably. And all I did was lay in bed in the dark, staring at my pillow, being like, fuck, the caffeine's going to kick in. And I guess I was awake, so it didn't really matter. But I really tried for a caffeine nap today and didn't properly convert on one.
I did see something about that. There was a study, like all people on the internet with these studies. I literally just read the headline.
A true Redditor.
Yes, but apparently it is supposed to be helpful. Like, even if you don't actually fall asleep, being in a dark room and closing your eyes and just like resting there is actually is supposed to give you some form of recovery. So at least you tried.
I definitely catch myself a lot.
You got a consolation prize, Like, you got that 10%.
I definitely find myself wanting to enjoy the idea of a nap as like a body hack, or I can't believe that I'm trying to explain life hacks like
cyberpunk
naps.
You keep on talking about body mods.
Yeah, dude, I got so much fucking chrome in me. I gotta delta the fuck out and go play some fucking cyberpunk. No, I find that oftentimes I don't really convert on the nap, but like I almost get there. Like I feel like I can get myself into like that twilighty sleep where I would never describe myself as sleeping, but like right in the middle zone. And I really like that feeling. I like that feeling of twilight sleep, like a lot.
I think the coolest sleep hack is you ever do the sleep for 4 hours and then wake up in the middle of the night for like an hour and then go back to sleep again?
No, I know someone who did that for an extended period of time. Like they lived their life like that for about a year and a half. But I tried doing it for a couple weeks actually, Probably not a couple weeks. I'd say maybe it was like 8 days, so like a week and change. And I just couldn't get that. There's like a name, like a buy something sleep schedule or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be how ancient humans typically slept. You know, they gotta go put fucking wood on the fire and shit like that. It's also apparently when monks like do a lot of writing. You know, just wake up in the middle of the night, scribble some Bible verses down.
Yes.
Go back to bed.
I have my Bible verses ready.
When that actually does happen to me, I actually very much enjoy it. It's a nice little, like, you know, there's just an hour of kind of like, just chill. It's I feel like it's a good break. A lot of creative juices running during that time. It's good.
I think I seldom find myself like waking up with that energy, or if I do, like I've had enough sleep, like a 4-ish hour session, I just want to force myself to finish the sleeping when I wake up. Like I get up and I'm like,
I need to. We'll get to Dota, everybody. I promise. But like, I need to start. Cyberpunk released. Have you been playing it? Because I will tell you that I actually got a refund on the game because I didn't actually play it at all. I didn't even start it. I installed it, but I never actually hit the start button because so many people were just like, it's kind of meh. It's not that good of a game. And so I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to refund it. I know I'm never going to play this.
I think that's smart if you know you're never going to play it. I played Cyberpunk for about 4 hours, I think, by the time I recorded last week. And my analysis a week ago was, I'm not really having a good time. And my analysis now, after I've played about 10 to 15 more hours, is, well, I'm going to finish the game, and there's so many problems with it. But it almost verges on funny, and it's definitely not what it was sold to the public as. But there's parts of it that I enjoy, so I'm going to keep on doing the fun parts that I like until I'm done with it. And I'm probably going to get a solid, if I had to guess, like 25 hours out of the game, which will probably be worth my time, and then I'll have that cultural touchstone moment and then never have to think about it again. I think refunding it is smart. Is Ellie trying really hard to like not bum the frame right now? Because she's allowed to just walk behind you. Like no one's going to see.
She could definitely walk through the frame, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to be on camera. And I'm not sure why she needs to go outside at 11 p.m., but she decided she wants to. So
that's, you know what, that's totally cool. Anyone can tune to the YouTube version to see what the fuck we're talking about, because that was funny. Do you like playing Fallout games?
Never played Fallout. Ellie loves playing Fallout. She really loves Fallout, and she really likes Far Cry. Sorry, Far Cry. I haven't played either one.
Those
of
are games. Different.
Yes, those are very different. I actually know a decent amount of Fallout. For whatever reason, I actually went through. I was like one of those like YouTube videos. I was like, I'm not gonna play the Fallout games, but I am interested in the lore. I think the whole vault system is kind of cool, and so I got sucked into one of those YouTube videos about like all the different vaults.
3 hours later, you're like, oh, wow, Vault 47 is my favorite.
Yeah, so I know a decent amount about Fallout, but no, I've never played Fallout or Far Cry.
I think I would give Cyberpunk the nod to anyone who probably like has some fond memories of like Fallout 3, 4, or New Vegas, and are generally into like that type of RPG. I think that that Cyberpunk just basically was oversold, and a game that was like clearly in a weird development system, because, you know, for the amount of time that took to get that game out, I actually don't think it's that deep or that interesting. And there is like a myriad of problems with it. So I would love, my most interesting thing about Cyberpunk is I can't wait to hear like 10 years from now the post-mortem about what happened during development, because I'm convinced that there was like some kind of a weird, you know, drawn out, potentially political system that happened that kind of scuffed everything up.
Too much focus on being able to change the size of your penis or boobs, and not enough.
I'm disappointed that the penis wasn't a slider, to be honest. Like it's pretty binary. It's like 1 or 2. I do think my favorites.
I did see a very funny clip from some streamer being like, "Wait a minute, that's small."
Yeah. Exactly. It's
Apparently,
animation.
they're all showers in Cyberpunk 2077.
They are all showers. The small one I would classify as a solid medium.
Mm.
But maybe I'm biased. Yeah, it should have been a slider. I do think my favorite thing to come out of Cyberpunk is the fact that we can just now refer to uncircumcised dicks as type 2. I think that's just funny. Because like it's really uncrass to be like, oh, are you circumcised? But if you ask someone type 1 or type 2, that's just objectively funnier. So I think that's actually my favorite thing to come out of Cyberpunk.
Okay.
By a lot, actually. Yes, Cyberpunk. I mean, I'm not going to sell anyone on it, nor do I think I should. But I feel like people who are on the fence, it's probably only for someone who is interested in a game that is Fallout-esque is probably the best parallel to draw to it. And if you're not that person, or if you know you don't like that type of game, then you don't have to waste $60.
Gotcha. Well, we're gonna get to the patch, but I did do so I did my recording thing.
Dude, it happened. It's real?
Yes, that really happens.
Please.
I got paid $200 for that. I haven't cashed the check yet, so we'll see. Maybe that'll bounce. But yeah, it was supposed to be. I was originally told it was just supposed to be me and the sound guy. I get there. I actually had an actual director. Her name was Asher. She was great. And then they also had a line to the studios in China, so it was actually a little bit more in depth than I expected. Also, I naturally went in there assuming that they wanted the anime voice because they gave me no real feedback. I just gave them 2 takes, and no, they wanted the higher pitched Lucio take. So I was not very prepared, and it was fast paced. So I was very much just like, all right, go. And I don't know. I think it went well. It's a little hard to tell. I mean, I know as a voice actor, I know I take direction very well. So it's good that I have somebody in there. It's my own creativity that usually suffers the most as a voice actor. But if somebody tells me what to do, I'm very good at doing that. And that is that goes down to my characteristics as a person as well. Very good working under somebody and when they tell me what to do. But if I have to operate on my own, I'm in trouble.
I in my head, Ken, you're just making a sales pitch for yourself right now. You're like, I'm very easy to be directed. I'm a great talent. I like that there was a line all the way back to China, and I also like the idea of them like I wish they would have like paid you with like skins and also money. Like, here's a check, and also like here's some e-coin.
Yeah.
Oh man,
they actually did ask me to like record a video. Basically a video like, hey, I'm Austin Walsh and I voice this guy. Like some promotional video, and I was like, all right, I'm like, this is the weird point where my careers kind of intersect because I actually have social media power, that's worth a significant amount of money. But like at the same time, I'm a nobody as a voice actor. So it's this very weird crossover where I'm like, okay, about that. Here's who I am. Here's my social media numbers. Like, you have to pay me for something like that. That's not something I'm going to do for free. I don't think they are interested in that now. Think they just wanted something for free. And
yeah, they wanted you to advertise to your friends and maybe your Aunt Lucy. They weren't like, hey, can you blast this out to a couple 100,000 people?
No, I think it was more so for them to put on their social media. So, like they thought it would help people, like, again, buy skins to, have some sort of connection with, I don't fucking know. I mean, it doesn't make sense from my perspective at all, but yeah, I was just like, awkward. I will take any amount of money for the role that you're trying to get me as a voice actor. But when it comes to promoting, all of a sudden becomes a lot more expensive. It's a very awkward point to be in.
That actually is interesting when the idea of you tweeting the work literally in a fair market costs more than the work does.
Yeah. Like literally, like I fucking that was like an hour's worth of work of which I put like a lot of time and effort training to build up into, but like that hour's worth of work versus the literal 10 seconds it takes to put out a tweet, but the tweet is worth like 10 times more.
It's wild.
Talent industries. What are you gonna do?
Fucking Hollywood. This is fucking Hollywood guy over here. I don't know why I'm.
Again, my careers are like weirdly intercepting in a different way because yesterday, I put together a bunch of the like tier 2 and tier 3 actors, and said that like I basically said like, hey, I've talked to some people and it doesn't really seem you guys like really talk about rates a whole lot. And I'm just going to tell you, like, here's what we've done as tier 1 talent. Like, here's what the pre-established talent have done. We found that over time, like, we've become friends with each other. We found that working together and talking about rates together is actually very healthy for the scene. It helps all of us. Here's all the things we've done. Here's how rates work. Like, because the DPC is an opportunity, I think, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get their first, like, real gig. So they don't know about how to negotiate for rates. They don't know how to, they don't know about like travel days, rehearsal days. Like you should be asking for money for that. If you're in a foreign country for an extended period of time, even if you're not working, you probably should have some sort of financial compensation, like they can't like,
at least a per
you're
diem.
There. You can't, you're there. You can't do anything else. Like if you're only working 3 days a week or something, and it's like, well, you don't work the other 4 days, so we don't need to pay you. It's like, okay, but you can't do anything else. I mean, yeah, you could stream and stuff like that, but like, it's not like you can have another job during that period of time. You are committed to working that place, even if you're not working every single day. So you should probably negotiate some sort of financial compensation for that, like, and all those sorts of things. And it was one of those things where I was just trying to like in general encourage them to like work together and talk together about rates and like going like I totally understand the fear, not even fear, but like this wariness of talking to your direct competition about things like rates and events and things like that, and being willing to take like realistically being willing to take any gig, any opportunity, like working something like one of these DPC events. If I'm in their position, the monetary value is almost secondary to the opportunity. They could pay me $1,000 for 5 weeks of work, but that 5 weeks of work could transition into a whole lot more down the line. And so I totally understand that because like I am in a position where I can push the ceiling of rates and I can say no to events. I could be like, nope, I want more.
Can you give me another take of that real quick and twist your mustache a little bit?
Yes, more money, more. But like I'm in position to do that in my current career. But like I'm also going through the voice acting side of thing and restarting and being the bottom of a totem pole again and totally understanding what it's like to I'm having I'm remembering again what that was like of just being like, oh, an opportunity like this is more important than the money I'm going to get out of it, And so negotiating on rates is just like, you don't even think about that.
Yeah, why?
Somebody gives you an opportunity, you take it, no questions asked. So
I like the idea of you holding like a class for people in front of like a whiteboard and having like a projector, like you're a cool teacher walking in like with a blazer and button. You're like, okay, everybody, today we're gonna talk about rates.
I mean, I wrote down I wrote a 2-page document about a lot of things. I blatantly said what tier 1 rates are. Said here's the range of rates for events. Here's the rates for online casting. I told them about travel rate days and all that sort of thing. I wrote a 2-page document about this and very much encouraged them, like, hey, you guys should talk to each other about online rates and like what you think the floor should be. If you guys work together on this, you can actually raise rates for yourselves. And there's just been like no talk whatsoever. Like I have all of these casters in this Discord and like nobody said anything hardly at all. So
like,
I'm
who's
just
going to break
like,
the ice?
Yeah, so cool teacher, I'm not sure is I feel like I haven't really gotten through to anybody. So
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're empathizing
Whatever.
with just teachers. I'm just imagining also like union president capitalist, like where you
yeah, that there was that joke. Lyrical made that joke immediately. He hopped to the Discord. He made the Chinese like the classic Chinese communist, I believe, with Mao. You know, standing in front of the red communist flag and just copy pasted my face over it. Capitalist 1 week after he becomes Capcast. It was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nobody's really seemed to be taking the lead or saying anything about this. And whatever, I tried. I thought it would be a good idea. It doesn't really affect me a whole lot. So if they don't want to take the opportunity, can't do it for them. So
I think you're planting good seeds. They will eventually sow.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or not. But
All right.
I'm keep on getting morbidly interested as DPC stuff comes forward. But I guess that, you know, we get the luxury of not having to think or talk about that for a moment, because all people can think or talk about doing is the patch that finally happened. And I should I should put like a timestamp. We made people suffer through 25 minutes before we're gonna find out your hot burning takes on Aghanim shards. Now, I want to start this off with a little bit of context.
Okay.
I don't know how much Dota you've played over the last 5 days. Probably a decent amount. I feel like I've seen you streaming for a minute. You know, I think you've played a little bit. I'm coming to the table with exactly a single game of knowledge. So I just want to preface. I just want to preface that I do have a single game of knowledge to share with everyone. And I know that might be a vast well. You know, every game of Dota in and of itself is a universe, right?
So I have only played, according to my matchmaking on Dota Buff, I've only played 6, 13, 15 games of Dota. That's pretty low for a new patch, honestly. I fucking NA, man. I can't. I'm gonna start playing on Europe West. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start playing on Europe West.
Are you hashtag too good?
I think I'll enjoy Dota a lot more. I'm just getting a lot of game ruining behavior lately.
Have you like finally reached the precipice where you're like too high? Where like you get to a certain cusp, but there's just more game ruining behavior between like the 1%?
No, I think I've just been kind of unlucky, but I also think like as I've gotten older, my acceptance of this behavior is the threshold has gotten lower and lower and lower. I can't put up with it. I can't put up with game ruining behavior, and what happens is I'm just more likely to be like, okay, I'm done with playing Dota for the day. Whereas before, I just grind through it. Just fuck it. Because I am very good at resetting my from game to game. I'm good at resetting. I don't like carry my tilt or anything. But if I get like I play 4 games, 3 of them I'm not feeling good about. I'm just not having fun. I'm done. So
I find my life pro tip for people who have problems carrying tilt between game to game and breaking that cycle is I used to have this problem with Counter-Strike matchmaking way more than Dota when I was younger. I used to like go on like 5-minute walks around the block after games, and it completely changed my outlook on tilting.
Yeah.
And actually like taking like literally something as small as 5 minutes to move your body and not instantly get into those impulses to click the find match button. Change the way I play games. Could not recommend more for people struggling who can't just, be a robot like Cap and turn it on and off.
Yeah, I mean, despite like I'm looking through my matches and I've just been like, it's amazing. My lifetime matches and like how filled the calendar is. And if you look at the last like 2 months, even the last like 6 months, I have actually not played that much Dota. But I'm actually the highest MMR I've been in a while. So I'm still learning and becoming better as a player. I'm just doing it a lot more efficiently.
Quality,
and just
not
grinding a lot
not
less.
quantity.
Yeah, but maybe. I probably what it is that I actually don't need those extra games to get better. And I've heard this from multiple people. I've heard this from like I think it was like CCNC or something like that. Somebody said like realistically you only need like 4 or 5 games a day to actually get better. All those other games you're gonna stop absorbing and learning new stuff. So I think that's fairly true. I think there's a threshold of how many games you could play and actually what you're pulling from those games. Like those first 3 games, what you learn and stuff, you're getting 80-90% out of the game. By like game 8, you're getting like 5%, you're fucking burnt out. Your brain's no longer like absorbing information as well.
Did you ever
Maybe you learn some like weird, you learn about some stupid mechanic, but like it's not learning Dota in a good way.
Did you ever use any tactics when you were like seriously learning or climbing, like writing down or just game reviews or VOD replays? Like how did you really?
Way back in the day in Dota 1, I did I would write down notes on drafting, and VOD, and watching games. I think watching the best teams from their perspective is one of the best ways to learn. Are you pulling out some notes? Are you pulling out some?
I'm trying to see. Like I have some Dota notebooks here, and I wonder if I can grab something funny out of one of them.
Yeah, I remember way back in the day writing down like drafting ideas and like what counters what, like okay, they pick this kind of hero, like here are my options for countering stuff like that. Because way back in the day, Dota 1, Han, it was like it was like playing competitively. I wasn't really playing to try and be a pro because there wasn't really a pro scene. There was like one NA team. That was Merlini's team. There wasn't like, from my perspective at the time, there wasn't really much of a scene to watch. It was mostly just watching Chinese games.
I think that I just know enough about my academic background to think that I learn the best when I take notes, even if I'm not like studying notes, just like the process of putting pen to paper. And for me, it's literal physical pen to paper. I have a lot of notebooks and like post-it notes as opposed to digital pen to paper. It's like different in my brain. I think I'm like a very tactile learner. So the pen helps with that, right? But when I was getting to 5K, and especially like I think after 3.5, I think that I wasn't really learning anything if I wasn't writing my games down. So I can look back and read fun things like on May 24th. I went 1-0 that day. I was 4,700 MMR. I played a Spirit Breaker game, and I told myself I created good pressure, but didn't do all I could at the time. Too much downtime. Still won though because of good team communication. Is this helpful?
Good.
No. Have I ever read this again until right now? No. But I think that at the time I found it valuable.
Man, you write notes on everything. Don't you write notes on the series that you've watched?
Yeah. Oh man.
You keep a journal as well. Man, you write a lot.
I really do. I can tell you that this season of Rick and Morty, I rated a 4.25.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, where Archer only got a 3.5 this season. If we're talking about movies, I gave Booksmart a 3. I gave Booksmart a 3. But I'm actually
I don't even know what movie that is.
I'm over 52 games played this year in quarantine. Wow. I haven't rolled credits on all of them. I'm up to 54 games total, but I think I've rolled credits on 41 of them. So yeah, I have like a full. I hope no one screenshots that. Now someone's going to because I pointed out. I have like a full list of every game that I've played this year, and I'm really trying to. One of my goals before the end of the year is to convert it to like a letterbox type site that does games instead of movies.
That's a good idea.
Because yeah, like I mean, I
Might as well.
all these notebooks will burn eventually, and there's no need to
Yeah.
keep them. And I think that, not to be too conceited, but I think that I actually have played enough games to have pretty solid opinions on them. And maybe having that at a place that's shareable might be better than not.
So, what is your one game opinion of the new patch? What is the note that you wrote down in the booklet for this new patch?
I only wrote down Dota game reviews when I was trying to grind solo ladder to like see how high I can get, like climbing out of 5, and I haven't done that in years. I don't think that I've actually played a ranked game of Dota in probably 3 years now, and I think I'm more mentally sound because of it, because I'm choosing to focus on other things that are objectively more important in my life.
That's good.
And playing Dota for fun. There's still part of me that wishes I was a fucking degenerate and could actually see, like, could I get to 6?
Yeah.
The answer is probably not, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I could get much farther past 7K. And then they changed the matchmaking system, which now you get plus 30 MMR for a win. So I'm pretty sure MMR is inflated compared to what it used to be, and therefore I am very easily going above 7K.
Yeah, right. So I guess I'm also judging these by old numbers, right? Where I guess, when I think of 4K, I still think of 4K as like relatively impressive to the general population. Which I don't think
4.5K was the highest you could calibrate at some point in time when the first calibration system first came around, right?
Yeah, people were like Arteezy was like 7K, right? And if you were 4K, it's like, oh, like that's like definitely above average.
Yeah.
My game that I played, which I didn't take notes on, sorry, that was a weird tangent. Is I just wanted to play a game with the CK Aghs shard.
Okay, that one is the create illusions on Reality Rift, or is it
no,
stun?
it's on Chaos Bolt. So Chaos Bolt spawns an illusion that attacks the target of Chaos Bolt for the duration of the stun, scalable to.
Okay,
it.
so I need to ask you something about Dota, Joey. How did it feel? I do not know. I have not seen this, so I don't know if it feels good or not.
It feels good. It feels good. It actually, because what it allows you to do is actually separate fights a little bit, because at a certain point in a game, from what I can sense, which has so many confounding variables like my skill bracket and all this stuff, you can not kill a support with a stun, right? But take someone out of the fight or really make someone low, especially if they're not full health. So if I'm getting into a fight, instead of using a Chaos Bolt as like an initiation tool on someone that I want to focus down, I can now instead throw a stun over to a 4 or a 5 and pretty much take them out of an entire team fight engagement. Because not only are they getting that 4-second-ish stun, they're losing most of their health. It's weird that it doesn't interact with Armlet the way that other illusions created does. So like toggling for it doesn't really matter, which I was trying to do and I was confused about. And the biggest problem about it, I think, is that I don't know where to put it inside of a build. Because if you're getting it before a big stat item, your illusions aren't really doing enough damage to be a deterrent to someone. Like, yeah, sure, you'll have an extra illusion if you bolt and then rift in and you're just objectively doing more damage. But are you doing more damage than if you were to have, put that money towards anything else that would beef up your illusions anyways? So I think it's like going after Armlet Echo, like probably Armlet Echo and then a third mid-tier item, if that's the play. Or you're already balling out of control, you have a fast heart, and then you're just getting one for the memes. I don't know if it's a serious part of a build or if it's just like fun extra. I think it's going to be that if you're getting one, you're probably going to want to get it after your item that's like a heart or heart adjacent. You've probably already won.
I think that is the thing that most people are figuring out right now is I think many of these shards, many of these shards, I would say upwards of like 80% of them are all viable. The question is, when are they viable? The question is like, at what point in time, how many core items do I need before this sidestep becomes a thing? So like I think, for example, Clockwork. I think Clockwork's shard is maybe slightly above average in its viability of most of the shards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's good, but I think it utility wise, it's okay. Gives you flying vision, gets you over your cogs. It's an interesting escape mechanism. It's like it's like a kind of one of those like catch all. It kind of fits everyone. So, but it cost me 1,400 gold. Force staff is infinitely more useful because I can use it on allies. I can use it on enemies. So, am I willing to get this and delay my force staff? Probably not. Is it nice to have after the force staff? Yeah. So that way I can use my force staff for something else potentially. But it's just like the way to think about these shards is like so many people look at it like, oh, that's really good. Oh, that's broken. But they have to remember that you're taking 1,400 gold away from a core build.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can talk about like how I think that bristle shard is like kind of a cool idea. But that 1,400 gold, if that's just straight up a vitality booster, that is potentially the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight, because my effective HP on Bristleback goes up so much off of just the slightest change in HP. So even just a vitality booster makes a big difference, So it's I think Terrorblade shard is a great example of one that I think is almost kind of broken. But you don't build it until like much, much, much later in the game. But it's essentially a free late game upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't take an item slot, but it's a free late game upgrade where you can take 25% of your HP, potentially giving you a good Sunder opportunity in exchange for getting 50 attack speed. 150% of that, I think. So 75 attack speed in melee form, making your melee form even better. It also increases your movement speed. It's like, I mean, it's just straight up like a better scaling, like it just gives better scaling opportunities for TB, but it's 1,400 gold. And there's a lot of other items like that's almost an ultimate orb where, that you need to build into your Scotty. That's very important, So I think a lot of these shards, somebody said in my chat the other day, before the patch came out, they said, the Gorb said that a Valve employee said that this is going to be the biggest patch that Dota had. I have no idea if any of that is actually true, but for whatever reason, it stuck in my head because of what it did. It got me thinking about what are the biggest patches in Dota and thinking about whether or not this new patch was going to be really big. And once it did come out, despite the fact that I think maybe looking at it individually and seeing that everyone got an upgrade, everyone got a new ability or a new upgrade to an ability, every single hero got one, I actually think this patch doesn't change that much. And the fact that there were no map changes, not really a whole lot of economy changes. There was some neutral creep nerfs. Their bounty doesn't scale as much late game. You get a little less gold, 10% less gold for stacking. But like very there was
straight up Team Liquid nerf. It's BM.
But there's no change on the bounty or experience of killing heroes or the shared experience, I believe, or anything like that. No map changes in that regard. So I actually think that this patch isn't like as massive as it looks initially, because many of these shard upgrades are incredibly situational. They're another option path in this tree, of like developing like what my item build is going to look like. It's just another small branch. I think there are very few of these shards that are, it's like, oh, this is core. I think like Slardar. I think Slardar shard, that could be a core pickup because it's incredible uh what's the word of it's a quality of life upgrade. That's what it is. So now you can blink daggers. What it does is it applies your corrosive haze on people that you crush. So now as Slardar, I can blink in and immediately crush, which applies corrosive haze on them, and then I can immediately start hitting
Does crush
them.
apply on first hit?
What?
Is it like a desolator? Does the crush apply on the first hit?
I don't know. I have no idea if the minus arm, because it is physical damage from crush, so I have no idea if that it actually works that way. But it does mean that you just don't have to worry about applying a corrosive haze after your crush in order to get the extra bash damage in. And I think that is actually very big for Slarda. Who else? Who are some other like really big shard upgrades? Man, I had like a list that I kind of was writing down. I was thinking about toying with making a tier list of shard upgrades potentially. I think Juggernauts was pretty good, actually. Juggernauts was a little bit too strong. Liches is pretty garbage. I tried that one. That one felt terrible. Bloodseekers. Bloodseekers is actually pretty game-changing for him. Because it actually, people are playing him as a carry now as a result of his shard, because he's able to do percentage-based damage thanks to the shard. So that one's pretty core. But I think for like 80% of the heroes out there, it's actually just an optional like second or third item. Less so, it's not like the first item that you rush so much. I think people are doing it right now because it's new and fun, and it's fun to play with new abilities and try them out and see if they're good. But I think for a vast majority of them, they're not actually that incredible. I could be wrong. That might be a bad take, but for now, that's what I feel.
I mean, I think that what I should be doing here is in some way, shape, or form, like disagreeing with you and being like, no, Cap, you got this all wrong. And I can't do that because I'm just simply less knowledgeable. First off, but second, I really kind of agree with the thought process that it feels really disproportionate, the amount of scrolling you have to do on the patch page versus how different I think games look or feel on paper.
Yeah, all the same heroes are still good, I feel like. For the most part, I think like most of the heroes that were meta, I feel like most of the 5 positions that I've been playing are like all kind of the same. I feel like psychopath tanky 5 positions that win their lane and maybe provide some sort of team fight capability, all very good. I feel like Monkey King, Ember Spirit, Puck, like those heroes were already good last patch, and I feel like they continue to be good this patch. Maybe like some of the biggest offenders, Sven and Spectre, got nerfed enough that they're not going to be like the most meta carries now anymore.
But something else will just take their place, right? Like they're just one positions like that. I would argue one positions rotate more than other things, anyways. Like, we've had too much Jug, time to get rid of that for a little bit. Oh, we've had too much Gyro, get rid of that for a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Luna, Sven, what have you. Like, I feel like we're basically in a wheel of rotating one positions more oftentimes than not.
I think that is most natural that happens with carries because they determine. I think it's just natural for carries to be a much smaller pool and what's viable, because they're not going to be picked up in the first 1-2 unless they're in a meta where they're just straight up overpowered, like last patch where Sven and Spectre, you could pick them in the first 1-2. But like for the most part, I feel like carries are more often than not, they're going to be your 4th, 5th pick. And therefore, what they provide to your team needs to be more specific, and therefore less heroes are viable as a pickup. So yeah, we do kind of just go in this circle basically of, okay, team fighting, faster carries like Juggernaut, Drow, Like they get picked at some point in time, and then like harder carries start becoming more meta. Maybe pushing carries becoming a thing. Maybe TB's a little bit more up there, but then we go more late game, and Sven, Spectre, PA, they become a little bit more viable. But then like we get back and everything, all of a sudden things are getting too slow, and then we go, okay, but we just run at them right away with gyrocopter, and it just
and
like
someone's like, whoa, wait a second, can we play Naga now, right? Like, so it's just
what it is people just like outgreed each other. People want to be able to slowly outgreed each other. We have better late game. We have better late game by 5%, but we have better late game, which just feels good. We don't have to make things happen. We're okay with the game state at all times. We're not pressured to make moves. All we have to do is counter their moves. Everybody likes being a counter puncher. Everybody likes the idea of the safety of well, not in an actual fight, but like the concept of games is like everyone likes to be able to see something coming and being like, okay, all I have to do is counter this. And for whatever reason, with MOBA games, it just seems to be that way, where it's like there's not pressure on you. I must make a move now. I must get these. This carry is getting too big. We have to go shut him down. People don't like that position. So it's a lot easier. So people naturally just outgreed each other by 5%, and so we slowly go into more and more late game carries until somebody's like, no, we're stopping the cycle here. It's fucking gyrocopter and Luna all the way. We're fucking running at you all the time. Fuck your slow carries, and then people are like, oh shit.
I mean, I like when the meta resets because I actually like playing Luna quite a bit. So, maybe I'm getting back to.
You could try Luna 4 position.
They
gave her a shard. They gave her a shard that makes it for a 4 position. Shard and Aghanim Scepter. Those are straight up for 4 position Luna. None of those upgrades were for carry Luna.
Yeah.
So maybe.
We'll see. I want to play more games naturally. I think I will. I'm coming up on like a little work vacation, then also not wanting to finish Cyberpunk anymore once I knock that out. So the next thing on my list is probably to really sit down and try and understand some more shards and have some more opinions on them. But like my very surface level analysis is remarkably similar to yours. I don't know how much it really changes. I think that things are going to be highly situational. I think that we'll see, a small handful of shards that are meta defining or game breaking, and those will be dealt with appropriately and then probably reamed back in. I don't think that, we're ever going to have shards necessarily define which heroes are the heroes at any given point in time. They're just always going to be extras. And in my mind, shards feel more like a 5 to 3 position thing.
Yeah, if anything, the Aghanims patch, even though not every single hero got a new Aghanim Scepter, about half of them got some Aghanim Scepter. Remember that patch? Mm-hmm. That actually, I almost felt like that made a bigger splash because, again, it came with like hero and economy changes and map changes and stuff. But also because naturally, because it was Aghanim Scepter, it became core to your identity. It was like an entirely different, instead of just being a branch like farther down the tree, which is what I think a shard is. The farther up you go, like these big fucking bows and stuff that you can go down. But like the shards are like fucking 3-4 branches down. But like Aghanim Scepter was like the first big branch that you could branch off into. It was like, holy shit, this could be my first or second item because it's actually core to the identity of the hero. But shards are intentionally, I think, built to not be that. For the most part, they're not supposed to be like, this will change, this will be how you play around this item.
Yeah. It doesn't change like an Aghs changes Rubik or Invoker or something, right? Like
anything that's 1400 gold can't possibly be something that like makes you as a hero unless you're a 5 position.
My thoughts also is that, when you're adding in a 1400 gold item that a lot of people are going to want to have, I think that if you start, like, it almost forces you to keep Dota in an economic state where there is just cheaper consumables and more gold that comes in, like we've been seeing, right? Like, I think if you reel back changes where you're having smaller kill bounties or smaller, creep CS gold income or smaller passive income, then suddenly you're not going to be able to buy all these new shiny toys that came into the game, right? So... Yeah. I don't know how we really, like, it's almost like we're dealing with Dota inflation in the sense where it feels hard to me to walk back the minimum gold people are earning at this point, especially now that we have another Aghanims upgrade that people are going to be wanting to buy. Like, if you just like blanket took 10% away from everyone's gold without changing item prices, then who's gonna buy Aghanim shards? Because you still gotta fucking buy boots, right?
Yeah, you still need glimmer capes and force staffs and all those sorts of things. If you're a core player, you need carry items. If you're a 3-position player, you need initiation or team fight items. It's hard to fit in that like, oh, but this gives me triple shields and skeletons spawn all over the map. Like, it's like nobody on your team cares about that. You might have fun with it, but like nobody.
Do you have a force staff in BKB, motherfucker?
A fucking Vlad's would let us do Roshan right now. You know, like a fucking medallion would help. You know, like they care about that. And Dota is at its core a team game. Even if people try not to play it that way, it is a team game. So, yeah, I think you know, I'm not complaining. Because I don't think Dota was in that bad of a place in the last patch. Yeah, it was boring with Sven and Spectre, but I don't think Dota was in a bad place with the team fight meta that it was in. Games still went late. Lanes were important, but there was comeback possibilities. I don't think you needed to change the economy or the map. So
I don't want to.
I was fine with it not happening. I just think that this patch wasn't actually that big. It's cool. It's fun. I'm enjoying playing it for sure. I will say, anybody who is a support player like me, you should try Witch Doctor. I think his shard is actually pretty viable, and it's also hilarious. So his shard allows him to turn into a death ward, Joey.
Oh, I didn't. I haven't wrapped my head around all of them fully. I know.
I don't know half the shard upgrades, and I'm supposed to know this game for a living, so I'm not expecting you to.
You're gonna get. Thank you. You're gonna get there. You're gonna have to cast eventually again, right?
I'm gonna. Yeah, it'll happen soon. But it's hilarious. You just some carry, some like beefed up fucking carry. You know, just fucking looks at your 5-position ass and is like, get that guy. You know, when he throws his stun and right as it's about to connect, you just go boop. You disappear off of the map. Your hero is technically, the status is hidden. You cannot be touched except for, I think, by damage over time spells. If you have some sort of dot on you, I think that continues. But your hero literally gets taken out of the map like it's got imprisonment, and in its place is a fucking death ward. And so you just dodge projectiles. His carries are just like, what happened? They're sitting there for like they're sitting there. It only lasts 2 seconds, which is the downside of it. But they're sitting by there by 2 seconds, getting hit by this death ward, going like, where the hell is that 5 position?
Does it share a cooldown with death ward?
Yeah, no. It doesn't.
Okay.
You just you turn into a death ward. It's very funny.
But you still do your full death ward damage. So like if you have Aghs,
it does like half the attack speed or something. So it doesn't shoot as often as the death ward, but you do take all the death ward upgrades, like the Aghanim scepter combos with it. But I actually think it's super legit because it's a really good save mechanism for Witch Doctor. It like disjoint stuns and spells and all that sort of thing, and that it gives you a chance to be able to get off your spells when you come back in. So try that one out. Don't try the Lich Aghs shard. That one sucks. Do try, if you want to try something fun and wacky, try Midwinter Wyvern. Blitz and I just ran into this one tonight, and Blitz just kept on raving about it. He said it has serious problems, but it also has serious potential. Midwinter Wyvern.
That's some boxy bullshit if I've ever heard it. I know someone's in his ear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I no doubt some pro player is going to be trying this. You go 2 Falcon Blades. Falcon Blades is this it's intelligence, HP, and maybe damage or something. And it's very stat efficient for an intelligence right-clicking hero, for like Lena and Winter Wyvern in this case. And then you get an Aghanim Scepter, which allows you to always be using Arctic Burn, which that also got buffed. You get your level 10 talent at 50, and what you do is you just Winter's Curse people and right-click them down. Not unlike what Ice 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 was doing with his 3-position Winter Wyvern. I played that, and it was very fun. But it's only been getting buffed, basically. So it's more viable than it's ever been because there's a new item that is very stat efficient for you. The Aghanim Scepter, I believe, has been buffed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Winter's Curse got buffed in some way. Also, there's the shard that you could get for it as well, though I don't really think it's that core to the build. But yeah, try that. It's hilarious. We're playing against him. We're just watching this Winter Wyvern just like pop out of the shadows, ult somebody, and then just boom, 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 and this people would just get 100 to 0'd.
I want to play. There's like a repertoire of heroes that I enjoy them much. I know that I talk a bit about CK because that's a close personal one to my heart. But I also do really enjoy playing Centaur, to the point where I actually am really protective about the pick because I have such a high win rate on it that I don't want to ruin it.
One of those.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, and that matters to no one except for myself. When I look at DOTA buff and I go like, yeah, I do have like an 80% win rate with like 50 games. Yeah, I am cool. It's not actually that high, but it's close to that high. I'm really interested in the heart of Tarask and like the HP regen amplification change to make tanky heroes more tanky. Are people talking about that? I feel like it's not super popular. The fact that the way that the HP regen amplification is working.
No, I don't think people have been talking about that as much as the opposite mechanic, which is the HP regen. Because there have been more and more abilities that stop HP regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, they just gave Drow Ranger the Aghanim shard. People talk about that because typically it's more so, in a weird way, it's like that mechanic is, it's a problem. It's not something that you build into so much as a problem you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest example I'm going to always list is like Timbersaw, an outright example. So now that upgrade to Drow Ranger is a answer to Timbersaw. But like I feel like in a weird way, nobody like really thinks about HP regen for themselves as like a bonus. People always just think about it as a problem they have to deal with somebody else involved. If that makes sense.
Here's my crazy pitch that people aren't going to ever remember unless this becomes completely accurate, in which case I'll take full credit.
Okay.
I think we're going to see a lot of big tanky heroes that have HP regen that hurts and is broken and are very hard to kill. Because just messing around in the demo mode with heroes and how this stuff is working and how the HP regen buffs are working, I think that it's just going to be harder to kill heroes.
Okay, so what items were exciting you about HP regen?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it much until this patch changed Heart, which is an item that is semi-core to core on a lot of heroes I like to play, right? Like I'm talking about CK, I'm talking about Centaur. Sure. Like I like these big, tanky, in-your-face heroes that are hard to kill and like have just large HP pools, right? Yeah. And I'm like, wait a second, how are you taking away passive HP regen out of combat? That doesn't. You completely ruin the item. And then I thought about it, and I talked to some people who talked to me more about it. And it's like, oh well, how is this now interacting with your HP pool and with the HP regen amplification? And the answer is that you're like sitting in places and just continually having 100 HP regen that people can't chunk through ever.
I totally would agree with you, except for the fact that I feel like I think Ice Frog has been putting in a lot of tools to deal with HP regen.
So maybe Ice Frog knows it's a problem.
Yes, I think more so that Ice Frog is actually in your head. Yes, he's thinking the same line. Where Dota players don't, I feel like most pro players and Dota players I know like don't look at HP regen as like a very beneficial stat unless they are specifically playing. Like they're specifically playing Timbersaw or maybe centaur with a heart, but it's like, or
Timbersaw's the one who's in vogue. I'd say it's just Timbersaw.
Yeah. So it's like you only think about it as a benefit with that hero, but how many times do people say like we need a spirit vessel this game because they have morphling, because they have a troll who's got a satanic, or like they've got some sort of lifesteal, they've got a Timbersaw. Like there's something that we need to deal with. He's too tanky. We need to be able to have this item. God forbid, maybe we even need an ancient apparition. That's how badly we need it. We need to be able to cut him down 100% of his regeneration to go down. Because that's the thing. It used to be that it was Spirit Vessel or AA.
Yeah, but now there's more. There's shards and hero abilities, and like there's more stuff that does it.
There's so many things now that do it. That I think Ice Frog is with you on that. That I think he was looking forward and saying this is gonna be a problem. I think he's been trying to make HP regen work for a while. Remember that we've had some stat change patches. There was one change where like strength heroes were very meta. Mm-hmm. Everybody was a strength hero, and I think he's been trying to make HP regen a more valuable stat for a while. But he's also been giving out the tools to deal with that HP regen, and that's probably just one of those things that like 99.99% of Dota players, it just kind of goes unnoticed. That balance, that balance. So I think no, you might be right.
I think the people who are playing either like Timbersaw or Centaur, or PL. I'm thinking of other heroes that like Heart generally feels
Chaos
good on,
Knight,
right?
Bristleback.
I think people who, and I also like playing Bristleback. Like the weird common thread between my hero pool, I think, is that I like beefy heroes who like to build a heart. So I'm thinking about it from a CK Centaur Bristleback perspective, and I'm like,
are you a Pudge player?
Oh, this is scary. No, I've never been a Pudge player because I think I've been stigmaed out of it. I think that I don't want to be that person for the same reason that I don't play techies.
Techies is fun though.
So my pitch is to look out for HP regen, and then the heart change I think is actually interesting, and people aren't talking about it. I think overall, I get a little turned around in my stomach when we see a lot of new items or new items in general. I think that I hold the opinion that Dota is too complicated for its own good, which I don't think is a groundbreaking opinion. And I think that it stops the barrier of entry for new people to join the space because of how convoluted it is. I think that's like kind of a core Dota value that I hold. And every time I just see new mechanics and new items, which in this patch is what it is, it's Aghs shards and new items, right? I'm like, ooh, man, that's really good for you and me and probably anyone who's listening to us right now talking about Dota because they care about Dota a lot. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, this is really hard for me trying to be like, yo, cuz, want to play some Dota with me? Because every day it's harder to get in. Yeah. Every day. And I know that that's probably not a battle you're ever going to fix, because I think that we're just on the path where, Dota caters to Dota people, and, we're probably never going to fix that. We're off a cliff. We're past an event horizon. But every time that it gets more and more down that path, I still wince a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I'm not sure if you saw that comic. I thought it was a very astute comic. Which showed up on Reddit. It was the whole like, what about the new patch and the new players experience? Nah, fuck new players, It's like, I think I would not be surprised if Valve had this conversation sometime after they said we're gonna rework the new player experience, and somebody just sat down as a group and they were like looking at the numbers and looking at how many new players come into Dota, and they're just like, is this worth it? Like, we can make that 45 50 new players a month go up to like 80. Is that, do we really care about that, or do we care about just retaining the players that we've had?
It's a business decision.
And yeah, I mean, I don't think they made the wrong decision. I think you reverse time and go back 6 years. You work on the new player experience, but
you advertise the game, which I think is a popular one to talk about.
Well, I'm not sure if you'd have to pry fucking Valve away from Gaben's dead fucking cold fingers in order to get marketing to be a thing.
Yeah.
Valve it's like they're fucking vampires, except for with fucking garlic and sun. It's fucking marketing.
In terms of new items, and I know you talked about one for Wyvern. I know we're talking about Aghs shards, extensively. Do super black daggers do anything for you?
I thought they were really interesting. I thought the strength one was definitely the best one. But weirdly enough, it is like the shards in a way, in that you get a blink dagger, the item path that you're following after that is not trying to upgrade that blink dagger. It's trying to give you more teamfight capabilities or more stat efficient items. You're not trying to upgrade your blink effect for most heroes. That's why I think the strength blink one is actually the best one, because very often there are many heroes that just go back and be like, okay, I've got my big item, like, now what do I get? Like, well, Force Staff's never bad. I can get a Shadow Blade to make my initiation more reliable. But like a lot of those initiating heroes, they kind of like they're one of the few rare times where instead of looking forward, a hero kind of looks back and it's like, okay, I'm like kind of a support hero. Maybe I should go back and get some of those utility items. Whereas most like support heroes are going, I need to get my utility items, and maybe I can get that Aghanim Scepter that makes me do a lot of damage. It's initiators are the opposite. So I think like Earthshaker, Centaur, Aghs, like overwhelming blink sounds pretty good, because you don't necessarily have the most impactful upgrades after your blink. You get some stat upgrades, but like other than that. So I think increasing the impact of your initiation and basing it off of strength, which for heroes like Centaur, obviously that's incredibly good. That is the most viable. Other than that, I've seen Arcane Blink on SF, which, funny enough, actually in some ways worked against him, because you gain minus 50% cast point. So it means that his ultimate went faster. So there was an entirely different timing he had to work with. He'd like Yule somebody, and then I watch him and I'm like, isn't he gonna blink, do his combo? Like what's happening? And then I see him blink like way late, and I'm like, isn't he too late? And all of a sudden the ESO goes, oh. He just does like a really fast fucking jig. But like I've seen that one for SF, and that seemed like,
why?
Okay,
educate me as the dumb person here. Why is Arcane Blink not like a super cool thing for your person who has a long cooldown ult who wants blink initiation, like an Enigma or a Tidehunter?
For an Enigma, totally. For Tidehunter, possibly.
Because I think about it as like the CDR is the most important part there.
Yes, I do think that the CDR is the most important point. The problem is, I think most of those, like many heroes with those really long cooldowns, don't take advantage of the intelligence that goes into it. Like these upgraded blink daggers are very expensive items.
They're super expensive. It's a blink dagger plus your Eagle Song Reaver Mystic whatever, and then a recipe. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. So if you're an Enigma BKB, you're gonna get blink, and then you're gonna get BKB. And which is better? An upgraded blink, 25% of the CDR, or a refresher where you can double black hole, double BKB in a fight, double midnight pulse. You know, it's just like, okay, a refresher is just straight up 90% of the times better. So you're probably going to go that. Maybe after the refresher, you can go an upgraded blink.
Or you go, man, a hex is cool.
Yeah, or, you know, there's so many items like that. Like, oh, they have a BKB piercing stun. If I get a Lincoln's, deals with that. You know, it's that problem, you know, where the core of your path, your item path is already set out in front of you. And these shiny items are cool, but like many of the times if we're actually trying to win, it's not good to stray away from the path that is set.
I also can't imagine the CDR being impactful for literally anyone who isn't in like a tier 1 or tier 2 team. You know, I think even if you're talking about like, you know, 7K MMR games, like, are you really working at the synchronization where saving 20 seconds in your black hole is going to be game changing versus having other item? Almost certainly not, right?
Yeah. It's like getting off, you know, having Ravage up that much sooner is cool, but like, or you could have 25 strength, which is your primary attribute. You could do more damage than AoE, which then also affects your anchor smash. So there's like a lot of synergy that goes into that. So I think we're like, weirdly enough, they're very specific heroes that Arcane Blink and Swift Blink, the agility intelligent versions of the upgraded versions, are good with. I think like Juggernaut, Swift Blink, super good late game upgrade. But again, all of these situations, they're all like, for these upgraded Blink Daggers, they're all like, I am 6 slotted and I'm keeping my Blink Dagger, and this upgrade is worth it over getting a Moon Shard or an Aghanim's recipe thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
with the exception of maybe Centaur, Aghs, and Slardar.
Yeah, with the exception of the strength initiators, where I think overwhelming blink is viable, where you get like Blink Dagger, Crimson Guard, Pipe, or whatever team fight item, then maybe you can consider overwhelming blink after you get a heart.
I can't think of a single agility hero who isn't Juggernaut who can benefit from a Blink Omni Slash increased attack speed, who would buy a Swift Blink Dagger sooner than they were like 7 slotted.
Yeah.
Like
there are a lot of heroes. There are a lot of ranged agility heroes where Blink Dagger is kind of cool. Drow, Sniper, but upgrade, like putting money into that Blink Dagger for mediocre stat return is like not that enviable. So
the coolest thing I thought about these Blink Daggers is that they're gonna make dank trophies. Like how we had
that is true.
How we had like
they are very cool looking.
The Reaver Eaglesong trophies for the majors when they were themed like that. Like in a world where we need DPC trophies, these Blink Daggers pretty banging.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Orb of Corrosion is probably the filthiest of the new items.
Why?
It feels really good. Because if I am some forward position, maybe an offlaner like Pango, or I'm a 1 position like Juggernaut, Lifestealer, one of those carries that will actively hit the enemy offlaner. Starting off with an Orb of Venom feels pretty good. And then a Blightstone is good, but it takes up too many slots. Fluffy Hat is incredibly stat efficient. So if I can keep my Orb of Venom, upgrade it with a Blightstone, and then on top of that have a really cheap HP item, it feels super good. As a result, way too many people are buying this item. They're buying it on like heroes that should not be having the item. But I think most people agree that this item feels really nice. So I think that one's the most OP. Mage Slayer is the most interesting that I've seen the highest tier pros play around with. Because a minus 35% spell amp debuff is like an incredible way for say, a Phantom Lancer or TB to deal with like a Leshrac hero or a Zeus hero. Something that is like death. Maybe
like a
death
Zeus.
buff.
Like in my games, should be like hit the Zeus with this. I'm sick of this bullshit.
I honestly think the biggest one is Leshrac, because Leshrac's that combination of like tanky and a huge amount of magic damage, so you can't actually hit him. So Zeus, the biggest problem is like Zeus will fall over if you're probably hitting him. If you're on top of him, he's probably dead. But like Leshrac, he gets in your face because it's super tanky. He's got BKB, Bloodstone, Yule Scepter. And I can't stop this magic damage any other way but a BKB. And illusion heroes don't really want a BKB. But I have Mage Slayer. I can slow down his damage, and my illusions can actually stay alive for an extra second or two. I think that one is the other really impactful item. I think that one I've seen played around with the most by tier 1 pros.
Did adding Holy Locket charges over time make the item an item yet, or is it still a big meme until 2021?
It's still a big meme. It's still good on the heroes that it was good for, which is 5 position Undying, 5 position Omni Knight, maybe Oracle. Not too many other heroes I can think of. Heroes have to do a lot of healing to take advantage of this Holy Locket item. So it's you could put in the charges over time if you want, but like really, if you want that item to be super viable across multiple heroes, you just straight up need you just need it to be more stat efficient. Which I don't think it needs to be that, by the way. Not every item needs to be equally
BKB.
Viable for most heroes, you know. Yeah, like not every item could be fucking BKB and pipe, you know. Not every item can be in 95% of Dota games and be good on most.
Your high MMR privilege, I think, is speaking with the pipe pickup stat line.
It's also because I'm an offlaner as well, so it's like pipe is like just kind of the go-to. It's like Crimson Guard goes out of style so fast. It's hilarious. Like Crimson Guard will be like good on one patch and it'll get nerfed and like nobody sees that item. Everyone forgets about that item until like some Visage or Lycan gets picked up and people are like, wait, how were we supposed to Crimson Guard. That's how we were supposed to deal with this. But pipe is like, do they have magic damage? Yes, no. Yeah, they probably have magic damage, so you might as well build a pipe.
I think the one thing that we didn't hit on, I mean, it's probably more than one thing if we're being super fair.
Visage is broken, by the way.
Hasn't Visage already previously been broken, though? Or is that just,
No, this Visage with his new Aghanim Scepter is big broke. Like play that one. Play that right now while you can. Yeah, core Visage. Play mid Visage. Get an Aghanim Scepter, and you become this terrifying version of like it's how do I describe this? It's like a ranged cross between Bounty Hunter and Lycan. It's terrifying. This guy is invisible, runs around the map super fast. He pops out with his familiars, and he does extra damage for a short period of time. He just blows people up.
Oh man, I'm not privy to what's going on.
Yeah, you get 30% bonus damage for you and your familiars. I think it's you and your familiars. Maybe it's just you. For like 4 seconds, you get flying vision. It's really good. But sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to transition to the last thing, but you got me thinking about heroes that are a little bit silly right now. Do you know? So my understanding, and I did just confirm this on Dota Buff, so I'm cheating a little bit. Do you know why the Lycan and the Lycan specifically, but also the Wraith King win rates have just ballooned crazy over this last week?
Okay, a lot of people were playing Wraith King. The
highest win rate hero right now, according to Dota Buff this week.
I think that is just I think part of that is they had the workaround. They changed Mortal Strike, and that probably is a little bit too overtuned. But I also think that that hero may actually just be just due to the meta. I think other carries got nerfed out, and Wraith King is kind of left standing in a way. So I think that is part of it.
Probably also
And
another good
then
overwhelming blink candidate. Not super early, but like as an eventually item.
yeah, like you're gonna have a blink dagger for much of the game, so maybe you can, instead of selling your blink at some point in time,
Yeah.
you go ahead and that could
Anywho,
be.
that's not important. You were saying more important things.
I think Lycan got some buffs, but I've also heard that his shard is kind of game breaking in like a really weird way.
Isn't his shard just spawn a wolf in a lane? That's more
Yeah.
gold for the enemy.
That's the way to think about it for an Aghanims upgrade. Which that's what it was at some point in time. For a very short period of time, that was like an Aghanims upgrade. For a shard upgrade at 20 minutes, to be able to have that power to permanently have one lane always be pushing in, that changes the dynamic of the game quite a bit.
Probably especially for lower, like anything under 3K especially, right?
No,
Right?
it changes. No, it affects high, because what it does is if you don't have to, if you think about it this way, it's like the same, like you think about what happens when you take super creeps, right? You take a barracks away, you upgrade those creeps. You never have to worry about that lane again, right? You never have to worry about that lane's pushing in. It's going to hit our tier 2. It's hitting our tier 3. Guys, somebody's botsing in onto that wave right now. He's trying to backdoor. Like, you never have to worry about that. So what that means is you can play more 5-man and more on like just focus on 2 lanes, which is typically how professional Dota wants to be played. If you actually watch pro Dota, most of the time, people are trying to play 2 lanes, not 3. Like, I'm talking obviously outside of laning phase.
Yeah.
When the laning phase breaks down, good teams are trying to play only 2 lanes. Because if you play 3 lanes, you are way too spread out, and you are begging to get smoke ganked, killed, lose map control, and be on the losing side of an economic fight. So I think that shard actually is like, it oversteps his bound potentially as like an upgrade, I think. But
That's
he
so
also,
wild,
like,
'cause
even
I
without
thought-
the shard,
I
think he just got
looked
straight
at
up
it.
upped.
Sorry, I looked at it and I'm like, this seems pretty innocuous, right? And it just shows how dumb I am. Because I'm like, a wolf? Okay, whatever. Take some free gold enemy. But clearly not the case if you just look at win rates by shard changes.
I think you also, the feral, I remember looking at this one and being like, oh my god, the feral impulse range is now like the entirety of the map. I'm looking at it right now. Feral impulse no longer has a radius, affects your units anywhere. I saw that, and just think about the number of times where Lycan pops his ultimate, he pops his wolves, he pops his Necronomicon, and his hero doesn't run after you, but all those units do. It's a fucking 5 position, 4 position, even like what are those squishier 2 positions, the Void Spirit type heroes. Like, oh, fuck me, man. Like, get this shit off of me. Like, I can't do anything about it. You know, you pop Ghost Scepter, it gets purged off. You know, like, you're just like, fuck. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to put his hero in danger. Lycan got, I think that was also a very significant buff. And on top of that, he got a lot of other little buffs. I think his talents got buffed. There's something else that got buffed. Hal probably got buffed in some way.
I have a ton of Lycan games on my account because my first 2 years of playing Dota, when I was still playing a lot of games in the jungle, played a lot of Lycan. And now my stats are like way Lycan heavy. He's like my 4th or 5th most played hero. To flip the coin for a second, you know, we talk about you know, Lycan doing well, presumably in this week. Are you privy to what's happened to OD at all? Like,
you know, it's funny. I was talking to a mid player who's better than I am, and he was like, "I really think this hero is not that. I think he's super close to being viable. He just needs some wave clear, which is something he doesn't have at all anymore because now imprisonment is single target. I I think part of OD is just suffering from yet another change to the hero, and people not remembering how to play it. But also, I don't think he has any farming options.
Let me give you a stat line real quick to
Okay.
sell this for anyone who doesn't know or isn't like looking at Dota buff like I am right now.
Uh,
OD last week 45% win rate, so definitely towards the bottom, but not the worst.
yeah.
If you look at percent change since the patch, OD has gone down a staggering 9.25% to bring OD to a 36% win rate, which is one of the lowest that I can remember seeing for an individual hero. That's wild. That is incredibly low.
I think what it is OD's kind of a weird hero. He always kind of has been. He has no way to be able to farm quickly. But he's supposed to be kind of a late game carry. So in order to offset that, you have to give him unique mechanics. And also like almost overtune his numbers, because he's just gonna always have less items than other heroes. So I think that makes him a very weird hero to balance. And I almost kind of like what Ice Frog. It looks like he's trying to make his arcane orb more of like a nuke, where he's like, okay, you can't do this super often, but when you do it, it's going to do a lot. But there's no way you're going to be able to balance that hero. Anytime you change OD, like they gave it the opposite way, right? You give OD some really good wave clearing ability. You gave him a new ability that allows him to be able to like push down, like clear a wave and then go hit jungle creeps or something. He's going to be broken as shit, because the build up to that has him being overtuned. He's got this pure damage. He's got some sort of scaling intelligence damage. Like, he's got some very unique shit to him that is kind of overtuned, specifically because of the fact that he just doesn't hit creeps well, So I think that hero is just really hard to balance anytime you make a big change to him. Better to be underpowered than overpowered, I'd say. Like that fucking fluffy piece of shit. That squirrel hero.
So, is it an overall negative opinion of Hoodwinked?
No, actually, I have a very positive. I think that hero is super fun, and I don't think it's that broken. The numbers were definitely overtuned, but that is because it is a glass cannon hero. That hero falls over if you were able to get vision of it and you were able to jump on it. It fucking falls over, but it is glass cannon to the core. It does high amounts of damage. So I think the numbers were just a bit overtuned, but nothing like Monkey King was broken when it first released. So I think they did a pretty good job with Hoodwink, because I got to play it. I played it as a support. Very fun hero. AoE Vacuum, a little bit broken. That's why I picked it, because I was like, okay, this is AoE Vacuum is broken.
That does damage, right?
Shit, you got me on that. I actually don't know.
I think the snare does damage. If not, I have to edit that, because that's embarrassing.
I'm sure it has to do some damage. I don't think it does very much.
Oh,
it does 360 damage. Okay, well, there you go. 2.2 second stun, 360 damage. And honestly, all I noticed when I was playing it was that I was getting fucking 3-man 2-second stun vacuums all the time. It felt great. I was like, oh man, this is super easy, because there's nowhere on the map you could avoid trees. Even if you can avoid trees in like the river, he can literally throw a tree at you in range. He could just use his acorn shot to plant a tree and then bushwhack off of it. So
it's a pretty cool idea.
That's gonna be fun. Bushwhacking off. Yeah, there's some fun puns to be used with that one in cast. I'll be sure to remember that. But yeah, I know. I think the design of the hero Valve does a great job with making heroes fun to play. I think almost every single one of the heroes they put in have been fun to play. So no, I have a very positive
I don't have a fun time
positive
playing
thoughts on Hoodwink.
Grimstroke. I'm gonna say it. I don't have a fun time playing Grimstroke. I
You
think
don't have fun playing Grimstroke?
I think every other hero that's been released in the last 4 years has been unanimously fun. Or like I think every unique Dota 2 hero that wasn't in Dota 1 has been fun, but I just do not have fun playing Grimstroke. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Stroke of Fate is just a much more juicier feel than Power Shot. It does
I think
more.
the sound is good. I think people like are infatuated with the sound because it has such good sound design.
Yeah,
but
then Inkswell is like a really feel good spell too. You put that on somebody, they run in, you hear the charge up, you see this boom, get this stun on multiple heroes. You're like, oh fuck, that felt good. You know who doesn't feel good? Fucking Coddle.
Oh, I have a lot of fun playing Coddle.
Like that hero, like even when he was his piece of shit mana birding, what was that mana burn spell that he had? God, that was so fucking obnoxious. But that was one of those spells that made the enemy feel bad. But you didn't feel good. You didn't feel good putting that thing on him. You didn't get that fucking visceral in your gut, deep in there, caveman. Me hit, me hurt, me feel good. You didn't get that. You went, yeah, I'm annoying you. And then the other player was feeling bad about himself. He was like, fucking, what's wrong with this fucking Coddle hero? That piece of shit. I can't move anywhere because of my fucking mana. And if I do move, I'm going to get fucking stunned and I'm going to have no mana. And then he pushes me around and burns my mana anyway. Fuck that guy. But like Coddle wasn't feeling good. Yeah. Hey, stay still now. I'm gonna push you around a little bit. The stroke of fate. Boom. Look at that damage. Yeah, feel how many creeps you just killed, and you killed a hero because it did a bunch of damage. Look at the Inkswell stun. Double spells are being casted when you use your ultimate. Oh my god, my leader just used a double Laguna Blade. Fucking Pog. How do you not feel good about? I love playing Grimstroke. It's one of my favorite support heroes. It's just not meta right now.
Maybe I just struggle more to play fives, and I'm showing some bias here. That's probably it.
Could be.
It's probably it.
Probably.
That being said, I also I don't have fun playing Void Spirit because I can't play Void Spirit well.
Void Spirit, very fun hero.
Damn it.
I actually think it's the most fun of all the spirits. Me personally. I'm not an Earth Spirit player, so, you know, maybe. But, like, I think Void Spirit has the coolest mobility. Storm Spirits is, like, he has one mobility spell, but it's, like, super OP. So he gets to just play with that the entire time. But I think Void Spirits is, you know, he has this dancing in and out movement to him. That's super fun.
Ember Spirit's my least favorite spirit to play. Earth Spirit's fun. Earth Spirit's fun. Even though if you're not good at him, it's fun. Man, shit. There's going to be people rejoicing that we managed to find literally an hour and change to talk about what is, I'm going to argue, the most substantial Dota change in 2020. Great. We got it before the year's over. Congratulations, team. It happened. Mission accomplished. We got him.
We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how the numbers go. I'm interested to see how Dota player numbers go, but patch is okay. I'm satisfied, but I'm not like super happy. Would have been nice to have something like this 3 months ago.
A Victor Roshan
sooner, something like that. But
I will. My goal before the next show is to play more than one game, so I can have some kind of a conversation about more of these changes with some firsthand experience.
Yeah. I won't go out on a rant about it, but I will just say I said I wasn't going to judge until we had a patch. I did it anyway, and I had my rants and stuff. nobody should take me enjoying this patch, and I feel like Ice Round did a good job. Nobody should take this as me being overall happy with the year. Because I think people are infatuated with the shards and stuff, but I will point out we should have gotten 2 new heroes. I know we're supposed to get another one, but like we got 2 new heroes last time. People are expecting 2 new heroes. So remember, you were expecting 2 new heroes. Don't be overly infatuated in the new patch and forget we're missing a hero. We don't have an Overwatch system. Still no new player experience, which I've totally written off, by the way. I have no expectations of that, but I'm just like putting that on top of the pile of things that were like kind of
I saw beta screenshots. Did you see those screenshots that are floating around of the Overwatch system?
No, I didn't.
I think that there might have been like in a build that got pushed or something. I'm not too knowledgeable about it, but I definitely saw people who were like sharing pictures of what the Overwatch system looks like in like a beta form. So that leads me to believe that that is something that is real and soon. And there's part of me that is very excited to be the person who is watching Overwatch games just for fun because there's some cruel sense of justice.
You like being judge and executioner.
Yeah, I want to be like, this person is a piece of shit. Kinda, yeah. Basically, what I thought was interesting is that you were supposed to mark the behavior that someone was doing, like they're griefing or whatnot, and you were supposed to like give a time frame of when it happened. Like it happened immediately, or it happened like in the last 5 minutes, or it happened like more than 10 minutes ago. So I'm interested in how they're like. It looks like the way the system works is that it kind of feeds off that data to collect. Like it looks like it's relying on human input to tell the robots where to look before giving it back to human input.
Wonder if it's not viable to have a button to hit to ping a time of game ruining behavior or something.
Maybe that's like the ultimate thing where like you can almost like flag a certain point in time in your replay, and then you can like report later. Because it looks a little cumbersome to actually like go into the menu, click an Overwatch button, click the hero, then click what their behavior was, then click when it happened. Like it looks like it's a lot of steps right now.
Yeah, I think the problem with having something in game is kind of similar to the surrender button. Is that there's probably some psychology there. People just like, once you have committed to hitting that button, you are kind of saying like, this is not salvageable anymore. You're committing to that person being a piece of shit. Like you're like, if I'm clicking that button of like game ruining behavior, oh, it happened at this time. You know, I'm gonna flag this time in the game. You know, I am in my head committed to the fact that I'm reporting this guy at the end of the game. No matter how the rest of the game goes, I'm reporting him. And if I'm reporting him, I probably feel like the game's over and like stuff like that. So
you check out.
There's probably some like weird psychology they have to work around for a report system as well.
I'm hoping that there's a system that punishes false reports automatically.
Yeah.
So that if you're someone who is just clogging up the Overwatch system with icky reports, I actually don't know if Counter-Strike does this. Like it allows you to not do Overwatch reports anymore.
No idea. I've never played CS:GO.
That would be my hope. That would be my hope. Cap, my friend, you have to play Half-Life Alyx. And on that note,
I need to. You know what? This is going to become like the Cinder and Sunsfan segment. They do this thing where it's like Sunsfan asks Cinderin if he's ever seen In Bruges. And Cinderin says, no, I haven't. And that's the end of the podcast.
Have you ever seen Contact?
No.
Damn it. Okay. I thought that Contact was like a very popular movie. I thought it was. It's like a Jodie Foster movie.
I'm sure it was. It just
I tried to make a joke about it, and it went over all of my coworkers' heads, and I felt like an idiot today.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did you feel like an idiot or a boomer? Like, did you feel like you made a
little bit of both
reference that was over people's heads because you're older than them?
People, I felt like I was in a safe space making the joke because I'm pretty sure I was the youngest person in the room at that time. So I feel it's hard to make boomer. It's hard to feel like a boomer when you really are the youngest person.
I was 7 when that movie released, and you're younger than I am. So, slightly surprised that you identify so much with that cultural reference.
I guess it was memorable. I think I watched it in a science class once.
Is that a PG-13 movie? What are we talking here?
Yeah, maybe it was a racing movie for a science class. You yet to play Alex. I'm eventually gonna come take my Vive back. Maybe
Yes.
That's gonna happen. My index.
Yes.
I think everyone should have a happy holiday season, because that's the generic thing that you have to tell people around this point in time. You don't know if I really mean that. I'm just saying it because like you got to, right? Like I mean, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, I guess, right? But seriously, I hope that everyone has
Joy
like
to the world.
Yeah, kumbaya, motherfuckers. I hope everybody has a relatively safe and healthy holiday season and is happy playing the patch and hopefully doing
Vaccines
as
are
okay as
going
they can
out.
be.
We're almost through. Don't
Well, didn't
go
you hear
running around
there's COVID
coughing on people and shit.
There's
All right?
COVID-20 now in London, so everything's fine.
Did hear about that, yes. But apparently the vaccine still covers that, so.
Yeah. What Cap said. I hope everyone is as safe as possible. I think I haven't run this by Cap yet. I think this is our last episode by the year because next week I gotta go do a thing, and by do a thing I mean not be near a computer. So I think there might be a break next week.
Fine.
We get one a year. We're taking it. This is our paid time off, and by paid I mean paid by your social currency of following the podcast. On podcast platforms or on YouTube.
You were passionate and cared about the podcast, but I guess you're wrong. Guess this is just another job for you, huh, Joey?
Everyone,
Shame.
Mental breaks are important and healthy, and
so it's not going to be. Is it a break, huh? It's you're saying it's a chore? Is that it? I'm sorry, Joey. I thought I was having fun with my friend.
Content doesn't grow on trees, right? And you can't every week have a patch or get a voice acting job or need to try and find coffee or try and date someone who's very clearly married and you don't know it yet. Like, sometimes you just need a little bit of time because content doesn't grow on trees. So... Roy, though, I didn't tell Cap until 30 seconds ago. I was busy next week. I hope everyone has... I'm congratulations, everybody, for making it through 2020. We did it. You did it. Stay safe.
Don't die in the next 9 days.
That'll be
Otherwise,
weird.
our congratulations doesn't work very well.
If you run the numbers, this is really morbid thought. If you run the numbers of people who listen to the podcast over the year,
are you going to say statistically one of our members is going to die before 2021?
No. Statistically speaking, someone probably has died who listens to the show.
Like statistically, probably, but also we like our viewer base trends younger. So I'm gonna hope that actually keeps us out of the running. They're also nerds, so it's not like they're going out drinking and partying and doing drugs and doing any of those kind of risky behaviors. Good on you, listeners. You're young and you're having fun playing computer games and you're living life to the fullest. I salute you. Stay alive.
Have a wonderful.
Stay alive.
We're gonna get DMCA'd. That's DMCA.
You simps. Oh no.
Fuck, dude. Now we're gonna get banned.
Oh no.
God, I'm so bad at finishing, which is something that I have been told before.
No.
God damn it. I really can't. Okay, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Thanks for hanging out with us. Truly. We will see you soon. Enjoy the patch.